Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. You're looking really good. Hubba, hubba.
Why, thank you.
I've got a Dear John letter coming up here later in the program, and we have it posted online already for those of you who are, maybe interested in chiming in with your advice. I love it when you do that, by the way, and there's fewer and fewer people that do it, but I do like it when people give advice, because our advice, here's why, Heidi. They listen to what we say and they go, I can't match that.
I can't top that.
There's no way.
That's perfect.
That's probably not why. There's actually a person who does answer almost every week who's like a clinical psychologist or something like that. She's trained professional. We are untrained unprofessionals. So she does give good advice all the time. And I was like, man, you always have great advice. She's like, well, this is what I do for a living. So if you want some free counseling, send a Dear John letter. That's what I'm just saying. I can't guarantee she's going to answer, but I can't guarantee she's not going to answer. I do have a quote for today. Opportunities don't happen. You create them. Chris Grosser. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. If you have a dog, listen to this. FreshPatch.com is a subscription service that will send you a box with a fresh patch of grass for your dog to use for a few weeks. Then they send you a new fresh patch and you discard the old one. You can throw it in the trash, use it for compost, or even put it in your yard and it'll grow into the ground. FreshPatch.com has thousands of happy dog families who love this concept, especially in the colder months. Try it now for a little less. Use promo code RADIO to save 10%. That's FreshPatch.com, promo code RADIO. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Thursday, the 18th day of October. It's National Chocolate Cupcake Day. Yummy.
I love
They are
cupcakes.
good. National No Beard Day. So for those of you who are getting ready for the No Shave November, you got to, shave it off today and get ready. It's No Beard, National No Beard Day. It is also National Get Smart About Credit Day, which you should really practice every day. And Get to Know Your Customers Day. So just want to take a moment to say, hello, how are you doing? What is your name? Oh, wait, that's not how radio works.
No, not really. It's kind of
right.
one-sided.
Well, but you can certainly reach out to us through our Facebook page. We'd love that. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Radio. It's a pretty amazing marketing tool. But like many tools, it works best when used properly. Like, let's take this weed whacker. I could use this to trim my hair. Yikes. Hope that grows back. But that's not what weed whackers are for. Tools work much better when you use them for their proper use, just like radio. If you want help making radio work better for your business, that's our business. RadioReallyWorks.com. Get better results with the money you're already spending. RadioReallyWorks.com. Time now for Is It a Golf Course or Is It a Rehab Center? It's been a while since we've had a PGA Pro, so I'm going to have a PGA Pro help me again today.
Good. I like it when you do
I
that.
do too. It's just, I got to dig through
That's
here.
really
and I gotta
cool.
I only have 3 of them recorded, so I don't want to bore people. Country Oaks, Buffalo, Iowa. Country Oaks, Buffalo, Iowa.
Hi, I'm Scott McCarran. So, Heidi, is it a golf course or a rehab center?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to say rehab center.
Country Oaks, Buffalo, Iowa is a rehab center. Golf clap for Heidi.
It sounded more like a golf course.
Yeah,
So
well, see, you're good. You're really good at this. And a big thank you to our PGA Pro. Again, is it a golf course or is it a rehab center? Brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com. And this is your Brain on Drugs, courtesy of TimeForRehab.com. Every day at this time, we talk about people who do silly things, just terrible, not very smart things, under the influence. And sometimes those stories are funny, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, you can learn more at TimeForRehab.com. The Kentucky elementary school teacher was arrested earlier this year for allegedly snorting drugs in a classroom. And
that's nice.
Back in jail now. 42-year-old Cherish Rednauer was taken into custody when she skipped out on a court appearance for child endangerment. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Anyway, It goes back to when she was in a classroom and she allegedly, the kids saw her make a line with some sort of substance and then snorted it.
Oh, my gosh.
And then she slumped over her desk. So anyway, she's in a detention center in a little bit of trouble. Just a bad idea. Really?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Anyway, I've got a link to the story if you want to read all about it. It's in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Channing Tatum is reportedly dating British singer Jessie J. The two were spotted playing mini golf last week. Ooh, big deal.
I don't know who Jessie J is.
Jessie J is Channing Tatum's girlfriend.
Okay.
Didn't you listen to the story?
I listened, but I still don't know who she is.
Ryan Gosling's new film, First Man, tanked at the box office. It brought in
Good.
just $16 million. So that in, $16 million for me sounds like a lot of money, but it's not, apparently. So, and one final story.
Well, I'm sure they didn't even break even with that.
Yeah, because I'm sure they, to go all the way to the moon to make a movie, that would be expensive. So, oh, that's not how they did it? A former American Idol contestant named Antonella Barba, I don't watch the show. I probably got that wrong. Was recently arrested for selling heroin. So apparently after American Idol, the things didn't go so hot. Not good.
That's too bad.
That is too bad. Thanks for listening to Big Screen, Little Screen on the John and Heidi Show. Radio. It's a pretty amazing marketing tool. But like many tools, it works best when used properly. Like, let's take this weed whacker. I could use this to trim my hair. Yikes. Hope that grows back. But that's not what weed whackers are for. Tools work much better when you use them for their proper use, just like radio. If you want help making radio work better for your business, that's our business. RadioReallyWorks.com. Get better results with the money you're already spending. RadioReallyWorks.com. Now your scoop of the day brought to you by FreshPatch.com. Promo code radio. A 129-year-old Chechnyan woman is the world's oldest person, and she told the Daily Mail that her longevity is a punishment from God, and
Whoa.
she's only been happy one day in her life.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's 129. I thought the oldest person was like 116. How in the world did that happen? So maybe they didn't know about this one. She's like, I've been hiding out. I'm not happy. So she's only had one happy day in her life. Did anyone ask her what that day was? Wouldn't you want to know?
I'd kind of like to know what that happy day was.
I know. And then I would like to help recreate that happy day for her. She's 129, according to the story. That just seems really weird to me.
Apparently, not much can make her happy.
I don't know. You'd think that something would make you happy. But, one day.
Apparently, being angry and bitter and miserable helps you live longer.
That's what it takes.
That's something to learn
Hey,
from.
Heidi's going to be around for a long time. Oh, I kid. I joke. I'm going to move on. I'm just being silly, Heidi. You know I love you, right?
I know.
Okay, I just want to make sure. She's my wife, and sometimes I give her a little guff. And if I don't remind people that she's my wife and I really, truly do love her, sometimes there are people who are like, you're kind of mean to her.
You're so mean
I'm just
to
being
her.
silly. It's because that's how our relationship is. We like to give each other a little, flack from time to time. Nepal has blocked 25,000 websites in a countrywide ban on pornography. The government says they're going to crack down on sexual assault by shutting down the pornographic websites. Do you think that'll help? And do you think there's only 25,000 websites that have pornographic things on them?
I would think there's way more than that.
I think so, too. I think there's a lot more. I don't know. I don't go to those, but that sounds like a very small number to me. Vladimir Putin has launched a criminal investigation of a rocket that failed on its way to the International Space Station. So there's a criminal investigation?
I
Like
wonder if you
somebody-
think somebody disabled it on
Like
purpose.
intentionally did that? I have no idea. That's kind of weird. So I hope that didn't happen. That would be really sad. A Slovakian woman. So far, all of these stories, are they all from? So this was a Chechen person. This was Nepal. This was Russia. All of these stories have been foreign today. That's weird.
That's okay. Stuff happens in other
A
countries, too.
Slovakian woman has amassed a world record-breaking collection of napkins. How many napkins?
Like linen napkins or just napkins?
We'll get to the story here, but first, how many napkins do you suppose it takes to break a world record in the most napkins? 80,000.
Holy cow.
80,000. Antonia Kozavkova, which I'm sure I nailed, has collected 80,000 individual designs. She keeps piling them in her office. She is
Oh my
Doesn't say how old she is, but one of the oldest designs dates back to the 1940s. So she has a whole bunch of napkins for some reason. 80,000 napkins. So that is quite a bizarre story. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. TimeForRehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com. And it's time now for
Dear John Letters.
Dear John, Dear John.
And our Dear John letter for today. First, before we get to it, I want to remind you, you can submit your own Dear John letter, and we'll tell you how to do that at the end. Listen to the advice first, then choose if you want. But you can also chime in with your advice, and we'll also tell you how to do that at the end. Here we go. Dear John, this is a question for both of you. My wife and I are having a disagreement, so I wanted to ask you two about it since you're also married to one another. We both use Facebook, but we use it differently. My page is always pretty positive, and my wife likes to share things that are a little off color. I even had a pastor message me about it a while back, but she continues to do things her own way. I'm okay with that since it's her page, and she has the right to say whatever she wants on her page and on her own behalf. Last week, somebody was being rude to me on my Facebook page. I did my normal thing and used humor to laugh it off. I thought it was over. The next day, I saw that my wife had gone on my page and engaged in an argument with this guy. They know each other, but they're not friends. I know his sense of humor. He was just being silly. Now it looks like there's some sort of problem between us, but there's really not. I told my wife I didn't want her doing that anymore. Now she is mad at me. Is it wrong of me to ask her to keep her arguments and negativity off my page? Should I apologize to my wife for this? Or should I just unplug from Facebook altogether? Signed, Husband with Questions. Boy, oh boy, can we relate. This is funny to me because very much how it is with us. My wife over here, she's on Facebook, and she absolutely uses Facebook differently than I do.
My Facebook page is awesome.
It's very funny, but it's also very offensive to many people. And it's not stuff that you're saying, it's just stuff that you're sharing. So I think it kind of sounds like very similar to what these guys are talking about. What was it again? Husband with Questions. If it's your page, you have the right to say, hey, don't do that on my page. Just like she would have the right to say, don't do that on her page. So if there are things that she doesn't want you doing on her page. But I think the reason that she did this, you know, she went on and tried to defend you. I think she did that out of love. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure.
I think if you have an open conversation, just say, hey, I have it covered. You don't need to do that. I think that would be the way. What do you think? Because his questions were, is it wrong of me to ask her to keep her arguments and negativity off my Facebook page? So that's number one. What is your answer for that?
Yes.
It's wrong?
No. He can definitely say, just don't comment on my page.
Okay. So then I think you and I agree that his page is his page.
But he can't tell her not to go directly to his page and make comments.
Don't give people ideas, Heidi. So that was the first question. Is it wrong of me to keep her arguments and negativity off my page? I don't think it's wrong of you.
No.
And I think it actually would be healthy for you to have the conversation, but make sure you do it the right way. If you just tell her, don't talk to people on my page, I mean, that's going to probably not end well. And I don't know where that Cookie Monster voice came from.
Don't do that.
Should I apologize to my wife for this? Depending on how the conversation went, if you were rude to her, then do. I don't think you need to apologize because you asked her to, but depending on how you asked her to, or if you had told her, don't touch my page no more, or whatever it was, then you owe her an apology. If you're rude to your wife, even if it was over something that you were right about, if you did it the wrong way, you owe that person an apology. Your wife, your mother, your friend, anybody. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
So, even if you weren't really wrong in what you did, but you were wrong about how you did it. So depending on how you had the conversation. And then last question, should I just unplug from Facebook altogether? Thousands of people are doing that every week. I don't think that's the answer, by the way. If you're leaving social media because of things that are being said and being done, and you go to some other social media, it's all going to just happen there too. Mm-hmm. So I think we should all try to get along a little better. So what do you think, Heidi?
I agree.
All right.
But having said that, I will also say that I can relate to what she did because there is no quicker way to get on my list than coming after my husband or my children, I will destroy you.
So leave.
And I can't help it.
Leave Mama.
That's just who I am.
Leave Mama Bear alone.
Don't mess with my family. And I will defend to the death. I absolutely will. And it doesn't bother me a bit. That's who I am. And I totally get why she did what she did. And what kind of an overgrown, spoiled toddler goes on a grown man's page and starts picking on him? Clearly compensating for something.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. You are supposed to be an adult. Act like a freaking adult.
Heidi has spoken.
I think it's wonderful that she loves her husband enough to defend him.
All right. If you would like to chime in with your advice, you can do that on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi. If you want to grow your business, you can add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers or a combination of both. There's no other way to grow your business. Just those two. Add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers. And if you already have a relationship with your customers and you have their email address, you can reach out to them with special offers to easily grow your sales, and you'll make your customers even happier. Let the experts at Constant Contact help. Get a free trial now. Text Radio Trial to number 22828. That's Radio Trial, all one word, to number 22828.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Amelia Earhart and Eleanor Roosevelt once ditched a White House dinner party to go on a joyride flight to Baltimore.
That is super cool.
That is kind of cool. Like the first lady just left with Amelia
Yeah,
Earhart.
that's
just
super cool.
Just gonna go fly around for a while.
It's a good thing that's not the flight that disappeared, because
Yeah,
that
no
would have
kidding.
been really bad.
So again, Amelia Earhart and Eleanor Roosevelt went joyriding in an airplane to Baltimore. Fun fact right there on the John and Heidi Show. If you have a dog, listen to this. FreshPatch.com is a subscription service that will send you a box with a fresh patch of grass for your dog to use for a few weeks. Then they send you a new fresh patch and you discard the old one. You can throw it in the trash, use it for compost, or even put it in your yard and it'll grow into the ground. FreshPatch.com has thousands of happy dog families who love this concept, especially in the colder months. Try it now for a little less. Use promo code RADIO to save 10%. That's FreshPatch.com, promo code RADIO. Time now for the grandiloquent word of the day. I think we've done this one before. Réchauffé. I remember saying that before. Do you remember that? Réchauffé.
No, I would have
R-E with a little
remembered
thingy
you
above
saying
it.
that.
C-H-A-U-F-F-E with a little thingy above it again. What do you call the little thingy that's above some E's? Do you know what that is? What is that thingy?
I don't know.
It's got like
It's an E thingy.
It's kind of a comma or kind of an exclamation. I don't know what it is. Not an exclamation. What do you call that? Apostrophe, but it's above the E.
Anyway.
Tilty? Something like that?
Okay, anyway, what is...
Réchauffé is a dish of warmed up food left over from a previous meal. So it's just leftovers. Leftovers. It's a fancy way of saying it. Is that French?
Sounds like a ballet move.
Oh, it is French.
What is that, French?
It is.
It's very definitely French.
It's like they have a different word for everything. Réchauffé, today's grandiloquent word. We're getting to the time of year where we start planning for holiday parties and other events that often include alcohol. I encourage you to have some alcohol-free options as well. And if you are drinking, be sure to have a designated driver. If you or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, there is help. Timeforrehab.com would love to connect you with someone who can be there for you or that loved one. If you feel like it's time to finally get the help you need, we're here for you. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com. Now some weird news for you on a Thursday, and I gotta warn you, I'm not gonna read this story word for word because there's some things in here I'm just not gonna say on the radio, but it's a bizarre story. And this could have been part of my brain on drugs because there's drugs involved, but I have like 40 of those stories, so I'm sharing it here because it's just such a weird story. North Dakota man tweaking on meth took his clothes off and went into a church's baptismal.
Yeah, you told me about this.
Before emerging to the altar. Well, he was naked. That you don't need to know anymore. If you want, you can read. 75 individuals were attending Mass at 9 a.m.
Oh my gosh, that would just be horrible.
Spirit of Life Church. It was interrupted when this 21-year-old Zachary Burdick appeared in the entry of the Roman Catholic Church in Mandan, North Dakota, about 5 miles from Bismarck. A female employee called the police when he took his clothes off and walked up to it's called a font is what it is. That's where they do the baptismals. And anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of that line because there's words in there that don't belong on the radio.
So
began walking down the aisle toward the altar while naked, and he was confronted by police. He said he was, quote, tweaking on meth and admitted to using hashish oil. He was charged with felony, indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, and a misdemeanor. He made his initial court appearance last week. I just don't understand what was going on, but that is why we call this Weird News. Now your moment of duh. This could have been weird news as well, but our weird news was pretty darn weird. Here's our moment of duh. A man suspected of robbing a Wichita bank earlier this year spent time in federal prison after pleading guilty to robbing the same bank 7 years ago. They say 50-year-old Brent Allen Dries of Wichita is charged with 1 count of bank robbery. They allege that he walked into the Conway Bank on Tuesday and gave the teller a note saying, "Give me $3,000 and you won't get hurt." The report says he was released from prison in July of 2017 after a 46-month sentence for bank robbery. They show that he pled guilty to 2 Wichita bank robberies, including one in the exact same bank in 2011. It doesn't make any sense. Similar notes were used in all 3 bank robberies. So you went to jail for a while, and then you got out and you said, I'm going to go do that again. I wonder if he just wanted to go back to jail.
So, okay, he robbed the same bank again and got caught again?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he had already been to jail and then confessed to one that he did prior.
No. So he went to jail.
I misunderstood the way you read it.
He confessed a long time ago, went to jail for 46 months, got out of jail, and then shortly thereafter went and did exactly the same thing at exactly the same bank and got to go back to jail again. So,
yeah, well, maybe
bizarre.
he was more comfortable in jail.
Could be.
There are a lot of people
Very,
that
very
can't handle
possible.
it on the outside.
Very possible. I have a link to that in our show notes. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
If you want to grow your business, you can add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers or a combination of both. There's no other way to grow your business. Just those two. Add more customers or sell more stuff to your current customers. And if you already have a relationship with your customers and you have their email address, you can reach out to them with special offers to easily grow your sales, and you'll make your customers even happier. Let the experts at Constant Contact help. Get a free trial now. Text Radio Trial to number 22828. That's Radio Trial, all one word, to number 22828.
Time now for Fake News or Florida. Before I read the story, Heidi, do you think it's fake news or Florida today? Oh, you want a hint?
I want a hint.
Like you need one. You always know the answer. All right. West Palm Beach woman busted for grand larceny after stealing a pony at a child's birthday party. Fake news or Florida? I just got to laugh because the whole premise is kind of funny.
I'm going to say Florida.
No, it's actually fake news. I have to say thank you to the people who are sending these in. You're so awesome at this. I'm terrible. I'm terrible.
I can usually tell yours.
Yeah, and she's like, no, fake news. How did you know? Because yours are awful, John. I'm not. You know what? If I'm going to be bad at something, I want it to be lying. I want to be bad at lying. That's a good thing to be bad at.
That is a very good thing to be bad at.
I don't want to be too good at that, really. I just don't. So if you happen to be really good at lying, if you just have some funny ideas that you think would be a way to trick Heidi, you could submit your own fake news or Florida, or a true story that happened in Florida. You can submit that as well, right through the website, johnandheidishow.com. This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and our good news comes your way courtesy of Odiva, the monthly subscription service just for the ladies. All of the details at radiosavings.com. And our good news story for today, I think this is actually kind of an interesting concept. Doctors can now prescribe social activities for lonely seniors, and mailman will help out too, which kind of sounds interesting. It says here, general healthcare practitioners in England are now being encouraged to prescribe social activities as a means of curbing loneliness amongst older citizens. The Prime Minister there says the government will be providing the national healthcare system an additional £1.8 million, that's like $2.3 million, to facilitate new dance classes and cooking lessons and community
I think
cafes
that's wonderful.
and other group projects for seniors by 2023. Now, additionally, they're going to partner with postal workers from the Royal Mail Service there to check in on seniors during their daily rounds. So as they're delivering mail,
I think that is wonderful.
it's a good idea. Like if you notice that mail is stacking up and, hey, they haven't picked up the mail from yesterday,
Right.
knock on the door, make sure everything's okay. So I think it's a cool idea. That's a really neat idea. I've got a link to this story in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. If you did not get a chance to hear our Dear John letter for today, you can actually read it in the show notes, all of our stuff in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. But you can chime in with your advice if you have advice for our Dear John letter, or if you say, you know what, I'd like to get some of that crack advice John and Heidi are giving out. It's maybe not that great advice, but if you'd like to get some advice on a thing, or if you just have a silly idea, I really like the silly letters.
I do too.
To me, those are my favorites because then we get a chance to be humorous rather than sometimes it's a little too serious.
A little bit, yeah.
So if you have a silly idea for a letter, you can submit those as well. All of that right through our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.